seeing an old friend and all you can do is wave at them from afar. You cannot get close to them, hug them, or shake their hand. This becomes the new normal, and coming into contact with people is a distant memory. If people do not take social distancing and hand washing seriously now, when the world is trying to take down the coronavirus, there is going to be a huge problem. Today, I'm going to try to persuade you to practice social distancing and hand washing to slow the spread of the coronavirus. The new, potentially life-threatening virus has spread across the globe and has drastically changed people's lives. The virus is easily spread when people who are infected cough, and it can live on the surfaces of things that infected people touch. I have done extensive research on this topic, and I have been following the virus in the news. My dad is also very involved in the details of how the disease is spreading and how the disease is going to be contained in the city where he works. I have found 7 different articles that discuss the benefits of social distancing and hand washing, and how following these recommendations would lead to the slow of the virus. The coronavirus is affecting everyone around the world, but predominantly older people. Since the virus is affecting older people more severely, young people think that they have a free pass to do whatever they want, since they most likely won't be affected. According to Harvard scientist Eric Feigl-Ding, the Korean COVID-19 tests have revealed something scary. Young people are the leading carriers from World Economic Forum 2020. Young people may have the virus but not show any symptoms, and since they do not show symptoms, they do not know that they have it and continue to carry on with their lives as normal, potentially exposing others to the virus. People believe that if you are young and healthy, you do not need to take precautions against the virus, and that is not true. The virus affects everybody different no matter the age. It has become known that young people can also get the virus and can be severely affected by it. According to CNN correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta, a young couple tested positive for the coronavirus, and since they are young and healthy, they were not concerned. When Ben Lerner started to experience severe symptoms, he was hospitalized. According to his wife, Brandy, Ben had more shortness of breath. He told her it was time to go to the emergency room. The following Sunday, he was feeling better and showing signs of improvement, from CNN 2020. But later that night, things took a turn for the worse. Ben went to bed, but unfortunately passed away in his sleep from the virus. This sad example shows just how bad the virus can be, and that anybody can catch it and be greatly affected by it. This virus is spread when people who are infected come into contact with people who are healthy. If society doesn't practice social distancing, the virus will spread and infect people until everybody is infected. According to Julia Jacobo from ABC News 2020, distancing, isolation, and quarantine are critical to stemming the spread of COVID-19. The virus affects everybody differently. There are young people who have died from the virus, such as Ben Lerner, and elderly people who have survived it, such as a 104-year-old man named Bill Lapshees, says the Washington Post 2020. Since nobody is certain about how people will react to the virus, it is very important to do everything you can to stop the spread. The coronavirus is a new virus that has no history, and it is hard to know what to do with something that is writing its own history as we speak. According to Maya Miller from ProPublica 2020, people who have been exposed to the coronavirus are being given incomplete or misleading information about whether they should quarantine themselves, illuminating disagreement among officials about how useful the tactic even is at this point in the disease's spread. Health services have never had to deal with this particular virus before, and they are learning it at the same pace that the virus is spreading. They are still trying ideas, and that can lead to breakthroughs. There are many ways that have been proven to slow the spread of the virus. One way is to social distance and remain at least 6 feet away from anybody, whether they are sick or not. According to the CDC 2020, the virus is thought to spread mainly from person to person, between people who are in close contact with one another, within about 6 feet. It is also very important to wash your hands after touching public surfaces, because it may be possible that a person can get COVID-19 by touching a surface or object that has the virus on it, and then touching their own mouth, nose, or possibly their eyes, from the CDC 2020. It may be hard to know exactly how to social distance and the degree of caution that is required, but there are some things that can help. There are many different ways to make sure that you remain at least 6 feet apart from other people, but one way that the American Red Cross 2020 recommends is to imagine 2 large dogs standing nose to tail. Many people have dogs or have seen large dogs and know just about how far away that distance is. If we do not start taking action as a whole population and practice social distancing and hand washing, the world we knew it before may never be the same again. The worst case scenario is that the virus never goes away and people are forced to wear masks and gloves wherever they go. People cannot get close to each other, and there are no longer any large social gatherings. As said by Lisa Lockard-Marigas from Johns Hopkins Medicine 2020, it may be disappointing to hear that so many sport events, cruises, festivals, and other gatherings are being canceled, but there is a public health reason for these measures. If the coronavirus is not slowed to a stop, these events will become nothing more than a distant memory. This doesn't have to be the outcome. If the world practices social distancing and quarantine, the virus will dwindle out to nothing, and very soon these events will start to reappear, because these cancellations help stop or slow the spread of the disease, says Marigas. You will be able to go up to your friend and give them a hug or a handshake with no worries. If you practice social distancing, the world will be able to take down the virus and come out stronger on the other side. When asked in a survey, 33% responded that they always wash their hands when they come back from a store, and 66% said that they sometimes do if they remember. When asked how many times they wash their hands a day, 58% said that they wash them more than 10 times a day, whereas the remaining 42% said they wash them less than 10 times a day. People responded that 2 out of 12 people always wear a face mask when out in public, 1 out of 12 people said they sometimes do, and the remaining 9 out of 12 people say that they never do. Finally, when asked how many times people have visited others once quarantine started, the majority of people said that they have seen people 5 times or less, but 2 people said that they have seen people as much as 30 times. In order for the world to get back to the way it used to be, action must be taken by everyone, no matter how old, how healthy, or how strong. To stop the virus, people need to take social distancing more seriously and actually practice it. Too many young people are blowing it off and saying that they won't catch the virus, and while this may be true, they are risking the lives of others for their own benefit. If people do not practice it, they are holding themselves responsible for the welfare of everyone that they come into contact with, whether they know it or not. It is a much bigger responsibility to have everyone's lives at risk because of your own selfish decisions, so be more responsible and take care of others and stay away and stay at home. Now I urge you to stay inside, only go out for essential things, and by essential I mean things that you cannot physically live without. Lastly, and most importantly, think before you act, especially now, and keep in mind the damage you can do if you do not keep your distance.